this meeting. Uh, all right. So first of all, congratulations on scoring 740. I mean, you've had amazing improvement in the last what? This is your fifth attempt, if I understand correctly.
That's correct. I think first four attempts, I don't know what happened, but I realized that scores did not match what my potential is. But
Mhm.
last one, yeah, seriously was really encouraging for me.
Okay, that's wonderful. So, Badri, here's kind of what we do in these interviews. What we do is we kind of understand who you are, what is it that you do currently, why is it that you're doing, going in for your MBA at this present moment in your life,
Okay.
and and then we kind of talk about how you went about your GMAT prep. And your case is specifically very interesting for me because you took these first four GMAT attempts, two in 2012, one in 2013, and then two in 2014. And kind of for the first four attempts, your score didn't go anywhere.
Yeah,
Right.
it was zigzag. I
It
think,
was exact, yes.
yeah, that's
And,
true.
and, and then suddenly you went from a V30 to a V41, and I kind of, while your quant was consistent all throughout.
Yeah, so that number did never change at all.
Yeah.
I was actually hoping to get a little bit more, but I'm happy with 49. At least one thing was consistent. And
Mm.
regarding the MBA, after IIT, I worked for construction for a year and a half. Then I wanted to work in environmental engineering, so I
Mm.
started with my master's in the US.
Mm.
And from 2006 to 8, I did finish my master's and start working in a one environmental engineering firm in Mava. And for
Okay.
years, I've been working in a same company
Mm.
and the same project. So it has been such a hectic project that I really get time to study. That's why you see such a long gap between GMAT's attempts. So
Mm.
some for a month or two, I get a little bit slack time. Otherwise, it was so hectic. Uh,
Okay.
yeah. So now I think I want to change my career and go into management from technical. So that's why I'm thinking to do the MBA right now.
So but are you a civil engineer by your education?
Yes.
Okay, you're a civil engineer. So you came here to do your master's, didn't complete it. You got a job over here.
And I finished my master's in
You finished
environment.
your master's, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I thought I was gonna have Payal. I was gonna make Payal happy. Payal has started her masters in US twice, and she's never completed either one. She started her masters in chemical engineering once from ASC. Then she started her MBA. She said,
Okay.
"I don't need it."
Yeah. I
So
think she was lucky to realize as much before than I do that probably MBA is better.
yeah. But you do construction projects today. Is that why you have these chunks of time in between projects? Is that the reason, or why is that? You said you're very busy at certain times, and then you get these little one for two of pockets.
Yeah, actually, I work on a project. My project is computer modeling, and it's
Mm-hmm.
a big river in New Jersey. And the project is always you have continuous simulation runs. So when they are going on, I hardly get time. So
Mm-hmm.
when the particular sets of runs get over, and then we are um, publishing report or working on the results, then that slack time I get once a month in a year or something. So that's why it gets that bad.
So what do you model? Do you model like the amount of fish in the river, or the erosion, or what is it that you model?
Actually, starts with how the water will flow, how the tides will be,
Mm-hmm.
how the sediment will transport it from one location to another. Basically,
Mm-hmm.
the river is polluted in some portion of the river, very polluted. So when the high storms come, then the sediments come into water column and they spread around the whole river. And some areas are residential, so the government want to minimize the erosion. So they were looking for alternatives. So they hired our company to run the simulation and
Mm-hmm.
suggest remedy will be optimistic for that river or cheapest and effective.
So you kind of work for a small private firm, or is it a huge firm? Uh,
Uh, it was a small firm, but I think 2 years, 3 years back, it was acquired by a big company. But earlier, it was a very small company. It was one office in Mawa, and uh, we mostly did small group, and we have some EPA works. But now
Mhm.
it's part of a big company, but we do the same kind of work. Only the name changed, but we are still working on the same kind of projects and same clients.
Okay. All right. And you work with techies pretty much. Is that a fair thing to say, or do you have other non-technical reporting duties as well?
Little bit of report writing and presentation, but not that much. Mostly it will be technical work.
Mostly it's technical. Okay. So you decided to do an MBA, and you said, okay, I'm going to write. You've got to write your GMAT to do an MBA.
Yeah.
And in 2012, you took your first GMAT. How did you kind of approach? And I mean, if you want to summarize your first four attempts, how did you go about your first couple, and then the third one in 2013, and the two in 2000, the fourth in 2013, and then I want to kind of focus specifically on the fifth and figure out what changed.
Okay, sure. First, when I started GMAT, I started with the self-study. So uh, I just got whatever book I can from library, and I started studying. And everything was so new that the format of the exam, it was different from GRE, and the question was different.
So just hold on. So you have a GRE background, of course, because you did your masters. What was
Yes,
your percentile in GRE? I think
I
that's
think
important.
not very good. It was, I think, maths was still same as GMAT, that 80%, and English was I think 60 or 70%. Not
Okay.
like first attempt of GMAT, so it was
Okay.
pretty much the same. Yeah. So after when I did the self study and took the exam, and so the exam didn't feel uh, when I took the GMAT, that was, I think, the few months after the IR session was introduced. So IR was good, and then the maths was good. Then I started doing the verbal section. First four question was fine. Then came along a passage, and at that time I didn't have any strategy how to approach passage. And it was a big passage, and it was from art or history. I didn't and the passage. I read it four times and wasted at least 15,
Wow.
20. Yeah, I didn't realize that it's going to be. I knew that if you don't score too well in your first few questions, your score will not be good at the end. But I didn't realize that you have time limit. You don't want to waste that much time. In the
So,
end,
so, so you did not take any mock tests before taking the exam?
I did that, but in the mock test, I got the score around 680, 670, and few. I At that time I didn't purchase the two additional exams from GMAT. It was GMAT Prep. It was just whatever came with the software. So I retook that exam, and that some inflated some of my score. So, and in the GMAT Prep, the passage was short. They were not very long, so that will take that much time to understand or read. And surprisingly, it was not that difficult also. But in the actual exam, it was such a difficult passage to read. Then so at the end, I think I had 15 or 16 questions left and 5 minutes, so I had to just rush through. Yeah.
So massive time mismanagement. Okay. So first attempt you studied from books, just took the two GMAT prep exams, and then I said, let me go take the exam. Did well in quant, did well in IR, but
Yeah.
bombed the verbal, right?
Yeah, so verbal is very bad. So
Yeah.
I decided that I am still fresh with the study, so why don't I prepare for one more month and take the exam again? So that's how I gave the second attempt, and in that I did study English a lot, or sorry, verbal a lot, and I, but I didn't focus on trying to find which was a weak section. I thought that everything is not that strong, neither sentence correction nor critical reasoning or the RC passage. So I did try to study everything. So score did improve a little bit, but not as much I was expecting. And it was already November, end of November. So I thought it's too late to again invest one more month and then apply. Probably will not able to apply in second round. So I thought, okay, from next year I will start studying again. So
So how did you study? You said you invested a lot of time in verbal. Your verbal score improved from V25 to V31 during this attempt.
yeah, so I also did this, again the self study. I got different books. I think earlier I was reading from Princeton Review, and after that I got books from Kaplan, and I think Kaplan only. And so again the score improvement was not that good, and the IR section and the AWA section also was.
Yeah, well, actually the IR is 6. I can really see the EW is 3.5. I have your score report on the other monitor over here.
Okay.
So, so,
Yeah.
so I have a question over here. So you again, and I asked this question, and then it's surprising that I've had to ask this question so many times. I mean,
Yes.
first attempt Princeton, second attempt Kaplan. I mean, these are not the most recommended books. I mean, I would have understood had you said Manhattan or Veritas. So were you not active on GMAT Club or Beat the GMAT any of these forums?
Yeah, that's the mistake. I was not active. I just searched the library and whatever book I can get my hands on. So I'll just go get.
Yeah, because I know Kaplan and Princeton are available in the library. All those Arco books are also available in the library, but I know the Manhattan and Veritas books are not.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. So I'd never. After second attempt, then I start looking at which are the books people usually recommend. So
Mm-hmm.
I heard about Manhattan sentence correction book. So I start studying from that book, and I think I did understand how what the common errors are, how to spot them. But third attempt, my main mistake was in sentence correction. I was look for correct answers. So that was big thing. I will feel that this answer is correct, but there may be some errors which I was not able to understand correctly. So
Mm-hmm.
third attempt also didn't work out too good, and it was also very late in November. And after that, I have to go to India. And the day I took the exam, I have to go to India to attend a marriage in India. So after that, I thought, of, okay, from March I will start studying, and this time I'll probably take and start and study with the professionals. So that's why in the March I started with e-GMAT.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I took lot more time than I should. I think probably you recommend 1 month of study and then take.
45 days or so, yes. You took verbal light prep, I saw that.
Yeah, so I did finish that course, and after that I took the mock test, and everything was going fine. But still, I didn't get confidence that I will be a good scorer. So uh, I studied a lot and try to uh, build confidence. Then I took the exam in September, but again, the issue was that my strategies were not that good of taking exams. So I didn't know how to approach if I took some more time in some questions and lagging behind.
Okay.
Yeah. So the fourth, because lack of strategy. So in final attempt, I knew that I have.
So for the time you said lack of strategy, so it seems as the kind of strategies that we talk about in tactical strategies. The strategy session two is kind of the ones that you were lacking during that time.
That's true. Yeah, you're right. I saw that recording twice, but in the exam I completely forget about it because of exam pressure. So it was just whatever, read the question, find the correct answer, or just click the right answer, go to next question.
So you scored 30 in your fourth attempt. It was an improvement from a V24 in your third attempt, sorry. But it wasn't. It was actually 1 point lower than your second attempt, which was in 2012, 2 years back. But right,
Yes.
yes. So now tell me, what if you were to really pinpoint three things that you did wrongly in this fourth attempt? And
Yeah.
I'm assuming this is still fresh in your mind. It was on 2nd of September, so it's still 2.5 months ago only. What are the three things what are the three areas where things went wrong?
I think the biggest was sentence correction. I was always looking for a right answer, and I've a lot of time I was not able to find the error in the sentence because in others GMAT prep questions and other GMAT club questions, I was able to spot the error, so it was easy to find the correct answer. But in actual exams, it got a little difficult to spot exact error and then find the correct answer. So that uh, shattered my confidence a lot, and during the exam, and that caused me to panic, and panic caused a bad score.
Okay, so again, panic. So I think that's GMAT is a huge. It's a confidence test, and then again, so you are a good test taker from what I really see. You are from IIT Kanpur,
Yeah.
which
So,
means you've aced one of the most competitive exams in the world, and
yeah.
aced it really well to get to IIT Kanpur.
Yeah. So yeah, that's why I was confused. What's so special about verbal that I was not able to get any improvement? So after the fourth attempt, then I realized that I have something really, really lacking in not in the foundation or the concepts, but in terms of how to take the exam.
Mm-hmm.
So after that, I thought that I realized that in sentence correction, I'm not that good at spotting errors. So I have a different approach. But since but from the core e-GMAT course, my foundation was good. So if I go by answer choice, I know that that answer is wrong. That ing verb ing modifier does not work with that, and this is on error. So I can cross the answer choice and then get the right answers. So that gave me big confidence. And when I took the GMAT prep exams, all four of them, I consistently scored 760 or 740 more than that, even though they were repeat. I saw some of the repeat questions, but still I have more confidence that this is the right answer. It's not like I saw the question and this should be the right answer, but I knew that this is like, I have a confidence that I chose the correct answer. So that gave me big confidence. And then critical reasoning was not my worst section, because from e-GMAT I did get the pre-thinking step. That helps a lot. And reading comprehension was my again, reading comprehension was not my strongest area in the study, but I realized it again in reading comprehension also. When I start looking for correct answers, or if I wanted to see my answer in the answer list, I was lacking to get the correct answer. So again, I started the same strategy, that go by answer choice and prove that each one is wrong, not because that should be correct answer. So that helped in both sentence correction and RC. And CR was good because of pre-thinking. So everything just.
So in sentence corrections, I think that's I think this makes me very curious, to be very frank. So in sentence correction, before you went to the POE, did you kind of focus on the meaning and figure out, okay, what is the original choice intending to say?
Right now also I tend to find out the meaning first, but I was not able to find the errors. What are the exact errors in the sentence? So that was my weak spot, to pinpoint what exactly is wrong with the sentence.
And because you weren't able to figure out the errors, and which is the confidence went down, and then I think that impacted the entire approach. Okay, and this is very interesting. I mean, I always learn something new every day. So what you're really saying is, once you found the meaning, you were able to spot the errors in the other answer choices, but not in the main answer choice.
Yeah, that's the surprising thing. Because when I go through by answer answer choice, there will be more than one thing wrong with that answer choice.
Yes.
So if I saw that's the only difference between two answer choices, one is the verb, another is verb ing, but I can't decide, then probably I'll find some other split which is more solid to reject, like pronoun error or something. So that feels like a mathematical problem. If you don't find one way, then search for anything.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's a very, very interesting approach. So fundamentally, as you did that, and I think so now between when was your last attempt? The fifth attempt?
November 9th.
November 9th. So between 2nd September and 9th of November, I mean, this is a change in approach. And when you change approach, you've got to be confident when you go into the exam.
Yes.
Right. Then this is going to work, because you faltered 4 times before, and that's takes a lot to really go from, okay, these are the approaches that I took for the first 4 times and didn't work. Now I'm going to take this approach, and I think this will work in the exam. And so walk me through, when you were in the exam, you got the first few questions. So walk me through what was going through your mind, and as you tried this new approach.
That's the fun, good question. When I started with the verbal section, the first question was, I think, critical reasoning. So I knew that was right. The second was sentence correction, and it was easy to spot the error. And
in the original or in the other answer choices?
No, in the other answer choices.
In the other answer choices, okay.
In the original sentence, I just read the original sentence very carefully and try to understand what the actual meaning should be. And looked into the error exactly in the answer choice. In the question, just start looking answer. That will help me to figure out what the error was. I think after 6th or 7th question, I got bold-face question.
Okay.
So I realized I was doing very good, and that's something I regret right now, because after I got CR bold-face question, I got so boost up in the confidence that after that I don't have that much interest in the exam. Literally little bit interest. So I just wanted to get it over. So, but after after 2-3 questions after board phase, I thought to just wait for 1 second and then focus and start with the RC passage. But luckily, I didn't get very long or very boring RC passage.
Okay. So this is interesting. So excuse me. So you got you got the board first question. You kind of you became really happy, and then you suddenly kind of realize you're becoming overconfident. So how did you pause yourself? What did you do? So that 1 second pause. What did you precisely do during that time?
That's funny. I was sitting in front of window so I could see outside. So it was 9 or 10 in the morning. It was sunshine and starting getting cold in New Jersey. So I just saw outside and the leaves were changing color. So I just stayed for 2-3 seconds and then got my phone back and started the exam again.
So you kind of had a happy thought and then.
Yeah, that's true.
Interesting. Do you watch Harry Potter?
Yeah, I saw movies. Yeah, I went to the Universal Studio also.
Okay. Do you know the Patronus charm in Harry Potter? Do you remember that?
I'm not familiar with that characters that much.
So do you know the Dementors in Harry Potter?
I know them by face, but I'm very bad with names.
Those black hooded figures.
Okay, yeah.
That suck the happiness out of you.
Yeah. I know that. Yeah.
So the Patronus charm is a happiness charm, which you use against them. It kind of seems to me what you really did was said, okay, I was confident, now I'm getting sad. Let me just block everything, have a happy feeling, then get back to the exam.
Yeah,
very interesting. Okay.
So I did get a little bit time pressure, but not that much. I think I did have to rush through final 2 questions in verbal section. So then when I clicked the next and saw 740, I didn't realize that. I was so surprised to see 740. I was expecting something more than 720 or 710 because my past scores were not that good, so I didn't expect to be 740. But then I got that.
I wanted to ask you this. So what? And this is what this was actually a question that I had. So what did you expect to get in the test, and how much did you expect to score on verbal?
I went to the GMAT forum and they say take the GMAT prep exam more than once, then you should subtract around 40 marks from total, and that should be your decent estimation of the scores. I was getting 760, 740, so I thought if I subtract 40, then 720 will be the ideal score. And I was expecting maths will be around 49 or 50, and verbal will be 30 or 39. I didn't expect to be 41.
Okay, all right. So that's good. That's a very, very happy surprise then.
Yeah, it was good. I surprised.
So one thing, Badri, that we didn't talk about is reading comprehension. We kind of briefly touched upon it, but not to the same detail as we did with sentence correction. So in reading comprehension, did you kind of apply the reading strategies to read the passage?
I did apply those strategies that when you start reading, then think about the broad topic, what exactly the passage is going to talk about, and in the first two RC passage, I did stop on the keywords to see how the passage is going. And third or fourth,
predict the line of thought. Yes,
that's true. Yeah, but fourth, I was just reading through very fast, and I knew that I have short on time, so just get the gist of the passage, and that's the thing. Probably because I read so many passages with that strategy, I was doing in back of my mind
intuitively. Yes. And that kind of what happens. I mean, you kind of start to it's like I think what it really is like when I used to play lots of sports. Now I'm actually gained a lot of weight. But when I used to play badminton, I used to play really good squash. I had played cricket at county level in Europe. And there are times when you're practicing certain shots and you're really saying, I'm going to follow this technique. The weight shift has to be proper. But when you are in a match situation, you actually really just go about it. And if you practice enough, the shots come out right automatically.
Yeah,
And
think about it, how to do
you
that.
don't
And
have to consciously think about it. I mean, the muscles are already there. The body automatically adjusts
yeah,
that way, and the placement goes right. And I think that's kind of when I see you with RC, I think that's kind of what I see was happening. Now you mentioned time pressure, right? In the last two.
yeah.
Walk me through a bit more about, when you say last two, is it, I'm assuming you kind of realize after the 20th question, the 10th question, the 25th question that you were running out of time. What happened?
Um, Good thing I remember your strategy session, that it says that where you mentioned that if you finish first 20 questions in 40 minutes. So that was my guideline, and I finished my first 20 questions. I took around 45 minutes, so 5 minutes extra than what I
Okay, okay.
yeah, expected. So I rushed through the next 10 questions, and I think you said if you skip one question in next 10 questions, then still you have 2 minutes per question.
Mhm.
Um, I did that, but I think I got RC passage in between. So by the time I have 11 questions left, instead of 10 minutes, I have 8 minutes. So
So
uh,
8 minutes and 11 questions.
yeah,
Okay.
but
Oh
good thing was
wow.
I was done with all four RC passages. I had some idea that I will not see any RC passage, and that will not cost me that much time. And sentence correction, I was not able to finish sentence correction in 1 minute. So that was,
Mhm.
I know that that's not my style. So what I did was, in sentence correction, I have confidence, so I attempted sentence correction, but critical reasoning, I was
Mhm.
lenient that I will just rush through this paper.
Okay. So were you able to? So did you skip in the last 11? Did you actually just randomly mark a few, or did you try and attempt all of them?
I tried to attempt for all of them. That was the mistake. I again forgot the strategy. But the last question was sentence correction. I have 42 seconds. So that,
Okay.
yeah, I didn't was able to eliminate all the answers. I eliminated two or three and then guessed one.
Okay. All right. But 740 still is a wonderful score, and think so. We must have been really, really happy coming
Yeah,
back with a 740 and really saying, okay.
yeah,
So 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 now coming as to next steps, you're looking for a career change right now, right? In a way.
yeah, that's true. So I'm thinking. Before that, I want to tell you about IR section.
Yes.
I, I started IR sections, and first three question was the one step question, like not like where you have information in three tabs and you have three
Okay. Okay.
questions.
Hmm.
So I think 10, 12
It
question
was
was,
a multi-source reason. Okay.
yeah, sorry, yeah. So the first few questions were just regular questions
Hmm.
based on data and uh, kind of critical reasoning. What will strengthen? What will weaken? So by the time I reached the 10th question, I have three more questions left.
Hmm.
Yes, and I had only 2 minutes, and that was multi-source question. So I knew I didn't have that much time. So I have to get
Okay.
all three. When I saw IR score 8, I was surprised. Even after guessing two questions, I was still able to get the IR 8.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I think.
I don't have your final score report. I actually have just till the first four attempts. So yeah, I didn't have your current IR score. Okay, so but that's amazing. So even though you guessed three multi-source, all three were multi-source reasoning.
Yeah, all three of them. But I think probably the first few questions were really hard because took lot more time to do that. So maybe I'm guessing that's because that was the probably high weightage question as compared to the.
Yeah, I mean you can't be so lucky because multi-source reasoning you get one wrong, right? You get everything wrong. I think that's kind of, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, that's true. Every question will have three sub questions, and there was
Mhm.
questions for total for multi-source.
Mhm.
And it was, yeah, this is surprising experiment result.
So, Badri, when I look at, frankly, let me just say this. When I look at your experience during this attempt and in IR, in verbal, I kind of really see the very fact that you've taken competitive exams before, the IIT entrance, the GRE. I think that did help you navigate through these difficult times and through the exam itself. I think that I kind of do see that as a component.
Yeah, yeah, you're right. Yeah. So I think I never feel that much pressure to in the exam. But the only thing when time's running out, then I sometimes get panicked. But it was never really exam pressure as such. I knew how to.
But this time you toughened up, right? I mean, you still were you still had time running out for you in verbal. You still had time running out for you in IR, but you
Yeah,
still did toughen up. And I mean, yes, there was that some sort of a mental panic, but there was more. There are two kinds of mental panics that I can really tell you. One is anxiety, where you say, "Oh my God, how am I going to do this?" The other is the kind of mental panic that kind of what shall I say? It accentuates your neurons and it makes them more active. The synapses connect faster, and it basically says, "Okay, whatever I'm reading, I'm comprehending a lot faster because I'm kind of in that rush mode."
yeah, that's yeah. I understand. Yeah,
And test takers can go in either one of those two modes, and once if they go into anxiety, it's kind of a big abyss. You actually keep falling down and you say, "Oh my God, what am I reading?" And the other
yeah,
one is a high consumption mode which can last for some time. You can't really do that for like 40 minutes. You can
yeah.
probably do it for 10 minutes, and then you've got to relax because your mind otherwise becomes overloaded with information.
Mhm. Yeah, I think you're right. The only thing I think that made big difference was the confidence. I knew that in now my verbal section is strong, so I probably can do better. That was a big thing, and also I knew that my base was strong. So earlier I knew probably have some feeling why the answer is correct or not, but after the course I was at least the grammar was little more solid or much more solid, so that I was able to. Eliminate the answer choices. So that was, and that gave me big confidence that I can probably score more than what my previous.
90 or 94 percentile, right? On verbal right now.
Yeah, so that was really
That is amazing. Yes, I must really say, I think you must be so proud of what you've done in a short span of 2 months.
yeah, it was nice experience, and actually, I heard when you talked that you never paid for your education, so that
Yeah.
was motivated. So and I also remember you was accepted at Booth, so I thought yeah, so, so probably they came that gave me some motivation that I can also apply and probably achieve something.
No, I mean, to be very frank, when I look at these schools, I'll tell you what. Okay, in my case, um, I made some big mistakes. Otherwise, I would have been. If I feel I would have gotten an admit from Kellogg as well, and also from Tuck. One of my biggest mistakes that I made was when I
Okay,
wrote my application. My first two applications were to Kellogg and Tuck,
okay.
and and Booth was like my sixth application.
Okay, so
Okay,
probably you're still we are still learning, so you don't you make some mistake probably,
oh, I
and
made lots and lots of mistakes, not just some. So what really happened was, so I applied to Harvard. Harvard, I didn't get through, and I don't know if I would get through still, to be very frank. But applied to Harvard. I applied to Tuck. Tuck was my dream school.
okay, yeah,
I really liked. I'm a small school kind of a guy. I like knowing the people around, and Tuck is a small school, even though it's very cold over there.
yeah,
Uh, so then I applied to Kellogg. I applied to Booth. Well, I applied to Kellogg. Then I applied to Keenan Flagler.
okay,
Then I applied to ASU, Babson, and Booth. So ASU, Babson, Booth were all in the second round.
okay,
Keenan Flagler was the fag end of the first round. Okay.
okay,
And
yeah,
so when I was writing my applications for Babson, and I reviewed my essay that I'd written for Tuck, I was like, "What the hell is that?" And Tuck waitlisted me. Tuck
oh,
waitlisted me. Uh, um, Kellogg interviewed me, so they kind of went over my
okay,
application and still
so
and I kind of really said, I don't know how the hell did the waitlist me. My application was so bad the first two ones, and
oh,
I was like, I won't waitlist myself given I had grammatical errors in my application. Again,
oh, yeah,
it was a very very it was bad. Okay.
Yeah.
And so by the time I went towards Babson, right, that's when my applications, my essays started to be more refined. Um,
Okay.
and one of the downsides that I had was, and this is 2003 that we are talking about.
Yeah.
I lived in Germany, and
Okay.
and and uh, Payal lived over here and in US, and we had just gotten married 3 months back.
Okay.
So again, there was lots of changes in my life, and so by the time it came to November, December, life had settled down, and my application then started to kind of show up. And
Okay.
that's when I got admit from both. I got full fellowships from Babson and WP Carey. I also got an admit from Keenan Flagler.
Oh, nice.
So,
Nice.
so, 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 and then waitlisting from TAC, and they said okay, and then ultimately I said full fellowships. Okay, let's
That's
take the
great.
money and do
Loan that.
the
Yeah. So probably you're saying that in the first few application, tried some colleges which is not dream colleges because
So
you.
I would say two things. First is hire an admission consultant.
Okay.
Okay, if you're not good in writing, I mean, today I probably would not because I've written so much that I don't think an admission consultant would add a whole lot of value to what I'm doing.
Okay.
But at that time, I had not written as much. But I would really strongly recommend hire an admission consultant.
Yeah.
Number one.
Yeah. I'm not good at writing either. So.
Yes. So I mean that's money well spent. The second thing that I would really recommend is yes, your first school should not be your dream school.
Okay. Yeah. So we.
Ideally, third or fourth is what I would recommend.
Okay.
See, what really happens is, the entire application process is overwhelming. I mean, it's not just the essays. You've got to get the letter of recommendations. You've got to make sure your resume is done right. You've got to then submit everything. And I mean, it's an entire process. And the first thing that you're doing, all of these things do overwhelm you and take the focus away.
Yeah, that's true. It's very hard to think what to write, what to exclude, and the first step is writing the resume, and that I am still wondering what to include and what not to
Got
include.
to, yes. So I think a lot of people make that mistake. So what really happens by the time, and I'm going to come back to that, but what really happens by the time you get to the third application, your LOR is there, your resume is there, you don't have to worry about it. The LOR is your LOR, your resume is your resume. You have a basic structure of all the essays. You've got to modulate them based on the requirements of the school, and
Okay.
you've got to change why that school,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Big questions, different questions, and
but
different.
but it primarily boils down to edits, number one, and the stories are still, I mean, your stories are set already. You're still not searching for stories by the time you get to the third or the fourth school.
Oh, yeah,
If you're
that's.
still searching for stories, you're doing something massively wrong. You did something massively wrong in your first couple of school applications. So your third application, in my opinion, is probably when you start getting to that 90% of your best of your potential, I would say.
Yeah, yeah. So that makes sense. The first one is always the haphazard, and you just try to start learning the process and
Mhm.
um, writing. Or it's the first application, so you will not be perfect. So, I can see why second and third probably will be much better than the first.
So what an admission consultant does is they ensure that at least your first and second are at 80, 85%, 90%.
Oh,
Okay, because you have that another set of another pair of eyes looking at it. You have that professional aspect to it, and overall, so you still get admits from the first couple of applications that you have. And I mean, I've seen people work with some admission consultants and get scholarships for the first couple of them.
oh, that's good. That's encouraging.
So yeah, again, and that's kind of why I really always recommend you work with an admission consultant, and again, do for the first couple of schools, and probably the third, and then you can do the remaining yourself.
Okay. Yeah,
So
the first two will be the most hardest to get through. And I want to ask you one question. How much time did you invest in storming the ideas, what to write and what to include in the
so
resume?
so this is again a very interesting question. So what it really needs is a focused effort. Okay,
Okay.
and
Okay.
and 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 uh, and it kind of means that you should have if I were to do it today, I kind of would do it on the board behind, and
Okay.
or do a mind map. Okay,
Okay.
I'm a mind map kind of person now. Now at that time, I didn't do mind maps. I didn't know such tools existed.
Yeah,
And
I just learned about it. I'm not sure how that works exactly. So you start with one idea and follow the leads
so
to.
mind mapping is fundamentally, I think what really happens is, and again, you've got to be a visual guy for that to work. So it works really well with us. But what mind mapping does is you kind of really say, okay, let's say it's my goal essay
Yeah.
or achievement essay, and that's kind of where you have lots and lots of options.
Okay.
And you fundamentally, the problem with writing is that if you go into the nitty gritties of writing, you
Yeah.
kind of lose your focus on okay how things would flow, the structure of things, right?
Okay.
What a
Okay.
mind map does is it basically says okay, um, let's say achievement in life, and I don't know if they still have those essays. I'm talking about 2003 biggest achievements, biggest disappointments. They
Yeah.
say these are four options that I can really write: option one, achievement this; option two, achievement this; and then for each of these four options, these are the qualities that come out of it. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so you kind of have written those down, and you can. The good thing with mind maps is you can minimize, maximize them. You can write text around them, and write them in a very loose form. So
Okay.
even without looking at okay, the nitty gritties, okay, have I expressed things really well? What you can really do is you can really say what is the essence that an admission officer would see out of that,
Okay.
which is fundamentally what's important, right?
Yeah.
And
So that probably comes from experience that what they're exactly looking for, or is there something?
no, so when you write an achievement, you know what qualities you displayed.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right, right. So you can then say, I think I displayed these. Now, for you to be able to do that, you should know what leadership really means, for example. You should know in real terms, how people interpret courage.
Okay.
Okay. And or risk taking or a few other things. But ultimately, I think really is you have four achievements. You have to really talk about one of them. And
Okay.
and, and, and the evaluation has to happen amongst those four. And you can't really invent a fifth achievement, right?
Yeah, that's true.
So
Yeah.
this allows you to evaluate those.
Okay. So
Okay.
right, and then you can pick whichever
Then
is
you
more.
can pick whichever you want to do, or pick two out of those four, and then really say, okay, let me just go into do a deep dive on these and compare them, right? And
Yeah.
then pick one and write your essay on that.
Okay.
Okay. If you don't do that, what you're going to do is you're going to start writing the essay without really outlining all of these, and figure out, oh my God, I don't like this one, and you're going to rewrite it, and that's when it takes a lot longer to write an essay.
Yeah. So you probably get
It's
into.
just 500 words to be very frank in the end. Once you decide what to write on.
Yeah, 500. Yeah, if you start writing the AW section, then 450 words. It's just a four lines. So that's a much short number of words to describe what your achievements are for the whole
Mhm.
life.
And then the other piece which is there is, if you're really good with mind mapping and if you've done that for some time, and you can do the same thing on a board as well. Divide a board into various sections. You can say essay one these qualities, essay two these qualities, resume these qualities, letter of recommendation these qualities, and you
Okay.
can really say do they gel together.
Yeah.
If you're portraying an achievement as an achievement in your essays, you've got
Yeah.
to make sure your letter of recommendation does talk about it.
Okay.
Because otherwise, if you say, okay, if I think this is my achievement and it's in the professional sphere, but
Yeah.
my boss doesn't think that's my achievement, then the admission officer would think,
Yeah.
there's something wrong with it. Either it's a cooked up thing, or he thinks it's wonderful, but his boss doesn't think it's wonderful. So maybe everyone else in his organization does the same thing.
Oh, yeah. That's the. Yeah. Never thought about that. Yeah. That makes sense. So
Mhm.
there have to be connection between all four of
It
them.
has to be. I mean, ultimately, remember the purpose of the application is to figure out who you are, and parts of you should gel, right?
Yeah, yeah, that's true. Yeah,
Right? I mean, imagine this way. If I were to draw a very, very crude example, I don't know if you got married as a love marriage or arranged marriage, but in an arranged marriage, um, they figure out how the groom is, and they kind of ask multiple people around the groom.
oh
If
yeah,
everyone says something different about the groom, then they're going to say, oh, there's something wrong. This guy thinks he's X, the other guy thinks he's Y, and this guy thinks he's Z. I don't know what he is. Is he X or Y or Z? I don't know which one's right.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So I think the application, the various aspects have to gel together, and that's where a lot of people forget the resume. I mean, the biggest mistake people do while writing the resume is they write it for the recruiter, not for the business school.
Okay. So they're looking for more like looking for a job instead of application for
Yes,
this.
yes. I mean, the business school guy is not really interested in the fact that you know 20 technologies, right?
Yeah.
Business school guy is more interested in, okay, what did you do with those technologies?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Right? I mean, if you say I'm expert in Java, I've done 20 million lines of code in C++, I was like, so what? But
Yeah.
on the other hand, if you really say I've commissioned, I've implemented projects which have costed as much as $20 million.
Oh, yeah.
That's a very different way to really put it. I've led teams, led project teams as much as where a project is worth $50 million or $20 million, or created products that have gone on to sold as many as $500 million, generate $500 million of revenue. That's a very different way to look at it.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
The 20 million lines of code is recruiter, $500 million of revenue is business school.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, they look for different things, so you can't.
Yeah, I mean, a recruiter doesn't, a business school guy doesn't care that you write very good C++.
Yeah, that's true. They don't care. You're right.